Welcome to the Headphones On Podcast Anime Edition. I'm your host, Robert, with my guests here,
Tyler.
and
Hunter.
we're here talking about some spicy anime. So, Hunter, what have you been listening to recently? And watching. I don't know, some people can read it, some people can listen to it, some people can watch it.
Okay, we
sure
should
it's
talk about
spicy.
spicy
It's
anime.
spicy, baby.
All right. Headphones on podcast Anime Edition.
Remember to cough that way.
This is spicy anime. Talking about something spicy. We have two guests today.
Did you just rewrite my opening?
Mhm.
I'm not rewriting the opening. I'm adding context. Robert, one of our best friends, and Tyler. If you haven't watched the other podcast, Juan had an emergency, our usual co-host. But we got two people to fill in. They're also on our regular podcast, so make sure to check that out as well, where we talk about music we've been listening to and stuff like that. And also explain why we haven't posted anything in 3 weeks, so definitely check out that as well.
Learn how to make that
But today, don't make me laugh. But today, we're gonna talk about we're just gonna make an easy episode to kind of come back into, which is we're gonna just talk about stuff that we've been watching lately, which me and Juan usually do, but nice to get a different perspective. So let's start off with you, Robert. I know you want to start with me. Well, I have a lot of shit, but Robert, what have you watched recently? It could be this year, last year, stuff that you've been really digging.
Well, since you started watching anime and getting everyone's list and recommending
Yeah.
to us, that's what I've been watching. So I watched. No, hold on. I got this. It was.
You got it.
It was-
Don't you have the list on your phone?
No, I'm not a weeb like you all. I got Psycho-Pass season 1. I watched that because I've been told that other seasons are trash.
No, they're not trash.
Look, you keep dropping your keys in the podcast. We can hear that like a pin drop. But Psycho-Pass, really good anime. I like the characters in it. I don't know, like people like, oh, there's a villain and hero. I was like, well, everyone's just doing their stuff. Even like the villain, it's like I kind of decided for the villain for like most of it until you got like too crazy, and then the girl being like the moderator in the show, being like, stop it.
Yeah, she's kind of like the person who's trying to be as good as possible. Whereas like I think I forgot his name, but the other main dude is like sometimes you kind of have to get your hands dirty, and sometimes you have to do something like he has to go off the grid to basically be able to be like, I have to stop this guy no matter what.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, the guy's like, I just grew up in this like environment you all set up, so I'm just acting like you all want me or what I don't agree with. So it was like a really good like makes you think anime, which actually with a satisfying conclusion, which I hear season 2 like ruins because it's basically like, here's a good show. Oh shit, it got popular. We need a second season. We didn't think ahead.
It doesn't need more seasons, but I agree with you on that. I haven't seen the second season in full. I've only seen like the first 2 episodes, and the first 2 episodes are pretty good. But like, I definitely think it, like you said, it didn't need one because the first one is such a clean cut kind of like ending where it's still a little bit open because the system is still there and everything. But at the same time, though, it could have just been like a bow on it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So what is Psycho-Pass now? I know I've heard the name, but I don't know if I know.
So
like,
think
the
about like a
premise.
futuristic society where now you don't have to worry about like basically like good or bad. Like that has already been set into this societal AI that decides everything, where you're gonna be placed, how you act, and all that. So basically,
Okay.
people are kind of like in a good like production efficiency like set path. And the cops of that time have guns that like they can't even fire unless the thing tells you like, okay, no, they're hostile or they're against society, so you're allowed to like shoot.
Oh, okay.
Other times the gun will be like no threat detected, so you can't shoot, so you just talk to them. So it kind of brings like the human decision out by putting the AI as the decision. But then the girl and the new recruit enters the situation where like there's this people who are getting through the system, even though the system's supposed to be foolproof. These criminals are somehow getting through it. So there's this whole mystery and this whole like collective speak of like, is this the way society should be, or is this where it's headed, or is this like, even best for us all once you figure out what the AI is?
You're basically judged by your mental state. So basically, if you like see a bunch of traumatic things happen, and it starts to like kind of mess with you, where you can start to go off the rail, they basically like go see a therapist, go see this, get treatment, do this. If you get too far gone, to where you're able to start hurting people or have violent thoughts or anything like that, the system picks up on it with the guns, which are called the dominators. And basically, the enforcers, the cops, are basically people who have been arrested that they're forcing to basically take down these other criminals because they have the same minds as these criminals, and they get regular cops to basically be in charge of them. And that's where the main girl comes in, and she's in charge of she's like working with them or whatever. And some of these people, take in mind, aren't all bad people.
Sure.
Some of these people just had bad things happen to them.
Right. They're just,
and their mental state just kind of went to shit.
They're just traumatized, and now they're getting.
If you don't have 24/7 perfect mental state, so something's wrong.
Guess you gotta die, bitch.
So similar to what he's saying is, it's basically like, should society live by this, where you're basically forced to try to be happy or forced to feel certain feelings when you don't feel those feelings.
Right. You have to be forced to be good when you maybe don't really need to be right now.
And everyone has like devices that tells you like, oh, this situation's hostile, run, and all that. And one of the best scenes of that anime was like when the guy came out and started like killing someone in the open public, and everyone was just like,
they didn't know how to react to
this is like, we haven't seen killing in the open, but
they don't even know what to be scared of.
Like freaking like,
okay, that's
deer in headlights.
It's a really, really fucking cool sci-fi anime.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a detective show. Yeah. It's like a noir detective dark sci-fi show.
That sounds like an interesting thought experiment into what like socialism would turn into. Like if we pushed socialism as far as we could
to be the most efficient.
Yeah.
Where you don't really get to make any of your own decisions anymore.
I
might check that out actually.
It's for me, like, I haven't seen the rest of the seasons.
Sure.
Because I've been scared to.
Right.
Because the first season to me is a 10 out of 10. I think it's a fucking masterpiece.
Oh, okay.
It is like tied for my favorite show of all time.
Really?
With Samurai Champloo. Yeah.
I fucking love Samurai Champloo.
Those two and Attack on Titan are like my top 3.
I fucking love Samurai Champloo. So if you say it's up there with that, then...
yeah, it has moments where it could be a little bit slow, but the payoffs are really good.
Okay.
Would you agree with that, or do you not think so?
No, I totally agree. It's just like, it's the cycle of like, okay, here's so much control that it becomes chaos again.
Right.
It's just that cycle. It's like, oh, we want so much control because there's been so much chaos, and now that's the control is chaos, and then just a cycle.
Mm-hmm. But what else do you watch?
Well, I said, I would do like 1-1-1. Or you talk, or
okay.
You want to hear about the other one?
That sounds good, actually. And that way we can spread it out.
Yeah.
Well,
we can discuss each topic.
This one will technically be a cheating one because then we can all talk about it together.
Is it Naruto?
I was gonna talk about Vinland Saga because I'm like, you were the only other person who I'd ever like. You told me about it, and like nobody else I know ever like watched it. So like, I'm excited to talk about it because I fucking love that show. It's really cool.
That's a good anime.
It's like time to bring out my 7.
No, I mean, 7's good. 7's good.
7 is good.
5
is
just
too
like
low for Vinland Saga.
Okay, 5 would be a Lightyear. Lightyear the movie, that's a 5. That's like you watch it, it's fine, it's done.
If you gave Vinland Saga 8, I would be like, that's fine.
That's too much.
I would, but see, I'm also interested to hear your points.
Yeah.
His point is the main character.
Really?
Now, I mean, go tell me your views on the show. I'll give you my good and views.
So I know the animation style isn't like super crazy. It's not anything like super out there, but like I really enjoy it.
I think it's
animation. I think the fight animations are fucking amazing, and that like they get their like facial expressions like. When he gets pissed off and is like going to like fucking murder somebody,
eye dilation.
That he like he gets me a little scared. Like I get like it looks really fucking good.
What was that hand motion? There you go. You better be like next to that mic.
I gotta eat the mic. Like the story is relatively compelling. Like I had a couple of moments where I was feeling some shit, and I was getting a little wet around the eyes. Mm-hmm. And like it's a fun. Fun's maybe not the right word. It's not really fun at all. It's depressing as shit.
It's adrenaline building.
But like when you get like those like big battles going, and you get that big fucking that blonde dude with the beard, he's just like fucking everybody up. Oh my god, I love that shit.
I think for me, the thing I love about Vinland Saga is more so. Well, A, the story's not done yet, but B, like, it had moments that actually like wowed me. Like compared to a lot of other shows where I feel like it doesn't have anything that really makes me go, oh shit. Where which we might get into some spoilers, so spoiler warning for Vinland Saga if you want to skip ahead, that's fine.
Oh yeah, forgot that.
There's this one episode where it sits you with this family. They're having dinner, and you're just like, okay, nice little family or whatever. And then out of nowhere, basically this girl goes out to go get some like something outside.
You're talking about the ring girl where she's like got that ring in the tree
or something, and then like all of a sudden you see all the Vikings come and just destroy everything, like completely kill her family, take all their shit, just kill everybody in the village and everything.
Keeps them alive.
And then literally just like it's the people that you've been with this entire show, but like you don't really think about it because you're like, oh, okay, it's nice.
Yeah.
But then out of nowhere, just completely this nice situation completely just 180s. And even the ending of the show where it turns into a giant bloodbath in this fucking King's Hall thing.
Oh yeah.
So fucking quickly. And
that escalated extremely quickly.
Yeah.
That reminded me of Game of Thrones.
It did remind me of Game of Thrones. Like I loved it because it's like stuff that you don't really see in a lot of other shows. And I love the animation, and I think Askeladd is like one of, in my opinion, like one of the best fucking anime characters of all time.
He's pretty fucking cool.
He has layers.
Yeah.
He goes from a character that you fucking hate to being a character that is my favorite character of the show. Like,
yeah.
He has, just like you said, so many layers, so many depths, like, because he doesn't just view this kid as a tool, but you could tell he kind of views him as a son as well, even though he killed his father. So it's like this weird dynamic, but it works because he's just like, at the end of the day, he's like, you're the one who also helped get me here to this point. Like, without you, I wouldn't have been able to do most of the things I would be able to do. So it's just like,
and the way he treats him throughout the show is fucking hilarious to me too, because like a lot of the big things that he accomplished throughout the show, Askeladd, he, like you said, the only reason is because he had this little kid who was Torvin just going in there and like destroying people, and like he just like, oh yeah, go ahead, do it.
Yeah.
And then he just like trusts him almost entirely to just go do this thing just because he knows that
maybe you'll survive.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll survive. He was surprised the first few times, like, oh, you actually lived.
Yeah. And then after like the third or fourth time, he was like, nah, I'm just going to tell you to do something, and I know you'll probably do it just because I know.
It's like in Fire Emblem. You have your good character you can just throw into like the pile of enemies, be like, I know you'll survive.
It's great is because he knows he'll do it because he knows that this kid wants to murder the shit out of me. So like he'll do whatever I tell him to do just so that he can kill me.
He has a goal.
And that's the thing with Torfin also is because you could tell that Torfin, even though he wants to kill Askeladd, also kind of views him as a father in a way because he lost his father. And that's the only person who raised him. So for him, it's very complicated because he does want to kill him. But it's like, he's like, if you're going to die, I can't let you die. I have to kill you.
I have
to be the one. It doesn't matter. Like, no one can take that from me. And when he like kind of loses his purpose after Askeladd dies in that battle, it's like heartbreaking. Not so much because I care about Torfin, but more so because I realize of how much that relationship meant to Askeladd, more so, in my opinion. And Torfin is a character who, like, which is what season 2 is basically going to be about. Is he's supposed to be annoying? He's supposed to be aggravating. He's supposed to be a kind of a character who's kind of just there. Because he hasn't learned the lesson that Taurus gave him, which is he's like, you do not need weapons. You do not need to kill people. You do not need to do this. You can have a life outside of this.
Yeah.
But he hasn't learned that lesson yet. And he's slowly, in season 2, going to learn to become the person that his father wanted him to be.
A true warrior.
Yeah, because his father is like, fuck this. Like, go back home. Like, don't do this. Like, because his father learned that very quickly. And it's just like, after a while, he was still able to beat motherfuckers up with just his fists.
He was destroying like whole boatloads of people with nothing but his hands.
But he's just like, this doesn't bring me peace.
No, you're not doing anything.
Kind of like a Last of Us 2 type of thing.
Yeah, you're just killing just to kill. There's nothing being accomplished really.
Like Taurus is where Abby's at, and then Ellie is Torfin.
Yeah,
he still hasn't learned that,
Well, because he's still all he's got all that
teenage
rage in him.
But that rage feels so good.
Yeah.
Revenge. And I mean, Ellie's revenge in Last of Us 2 helped. I mean, they both just like ate away at the fucking Twizzler until they both came head to head. It's like, oh.
I didn't realize that before, but those two stories are actually like very similar.
Yeah.
Even the way they end.
Revenge.
It's a revenge tale, but I think both of those types of stories are good revenge tales compared to a lot of basic ones. You killed the person I like, or whatever. where Vinland Saga takes that trope and is like, how do we twist it? And how do we make the characters more interesting, like Askeladd, and make him Welsh? So he has to invade his own country and kill his own people. It's like they keep twisting the knife and everything. And that's what I love about the writing of the show is it keeps making it interesting. And sometimes it might be a little slow or something, but like even I like the prince because the prince, you think he's gonna be this badass motherfucker with this cool helmet.
Yeah, he does look like he's really cool.
Trash.
He's nothing. He's just like a little. But then
But he gives you the glimmer of hope of love.
Yeah, but then he like switches randomly, and I was like, why is everybody just deciding to listen to him now? Just because
he's seen death, and that just invigorates him to be the leader that he's supposed to be.
It's more so just the fact that no matter what, he's still the prince. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like, at the end of the day, what are you gonna say? Because if you don't listen to him, you're just gonna die. So not from him, but from everybody else. The king, you name it. Like you kind of have to listen.
Even though he was supposed to die, he was sent off to die. Which I just came to realization. The prince is the way he is because he's someone that does not like battle and has not seen it much. Versus the Viking who has like raced it. So he's like, no, fighting. This is what we do. And then he's like, but why? Explain to me why you fight, and then that's how it turns. But they couldn't answer that because like this is all we do. And the prince like, well, let me give you another purpose. Then he's like, okay.
Well, wait a minute.
Let me give you the purpose of love.
I think that's the other thing I like is because it heavily reminds me of Last Kingdom on Netflix, the live action show of Vikings and stuff. But the thing I like about it better, why I like it better than Last Kingdom, is it doesn't dive too deep into the ideology, like the religious aspect of the show, where it definitely has it, where Vikings are like, I don't get why they worship God. Like,
they worship Jesus Christ. And all that
like you see the differences between the two different
Christians and
like beliefs or whatever. But but Last Kingdom dives into it way deeper, which can make the show very slow. Where at least for Vinland Saga, it like talks about those things, but it doesn't like.
Yeah, Last Kingdom, it feels like it's a little bit more of like a historical kind of thing where they're trying to stay true to what happened in like actual history. I'm sure they have to embellish somewhat, but they're trying to make it a little bit more like historically accurate, and then it becomes more like political intrigue more than just being like Vikings doing Viking shit.
Yeah. Whereas like Vinland Saga focuses more so on like, well, we have that here, but how do we make these characters like more interesting?
It's much more character driven, I think.
But Vinland Saga.
Yeah, it's a good time.
It's a 7 out of 10.
I would probably put it a little higher than that. But,
I went back and forth because I had it at a 9 for the longest time. But the more I thought about it, the more it's really stuck with me. And I think that for me, this show's a 10. Like, I think it's a fucking masterpiece. I think in terms of its characters, its writing, its world, the way it has these surprises, and the way the show completely keeps flipping your expectations of what it wants from you, I think it does it a lot better than most shows. And especially after watching this new season of anime, it really made me appreciate shows like Vinland Saga and Code Geass and a lot of these other shows way more.
Damn,
and I'm like, wow, Jesus Christ. These shows are mediocre as hell.
Burning them up.
So I guess I'll go. I've been watching way too many fucking shows lately because I'm trying to kind of like
cursing.
I will curse as much as I want. I've been trying to watch a lot of the shows that have been on my bucket list. So I started watching, I'm gonna name a couple, Dororo, which is another Prime exclusive along with Vinland Saga. And it's fucking badass. I saw so many people talking about this show, and I was just like, okay, I gotta check it out. And what it's basically about is this dad who is basically like, I can't protect my village. I can't protect my people. It's a samurai show. He's like, I need the power to. So he basically prays to the gods. He's like, I will do anything. Give me the power to protect my people. So lightning strikes his fucking child that's being brought into this world. And the child is fucking cursed. And basically, it has no skin. It has no eyes. It has no arms. And it has no legs.
Oh, what the fuck?
And he's
like a worm.
And he's deaf. And he's just like,
got Helen Keller over here.
He's like, I don't give a shit about this baby. As long as I can protect my wife and whatever, we'll make another baby. Fuck this baby. And just, it's like, bye.
Damn.
So the baby basically gets brought up by some other people or whatever, and he basically has to learn to take care of himself and fight for himself. So he has like kind of like a doll face, like a doll like mask face. He has like a prosthetic arms and stuff like that, and legs and stuff. And he basically has things that come out like swords and knives and stuff. So basically, what the show turns into is because in the temple where his father prayed, there's all these statues of all these like demons and stuff like that. Is he has to defeat these demons to basically get his body parts back and to
What
get
the
his life
fuck?
back. And it's fucking badass.
That sounds
it's
insane.
So fucking cool. And like it's like I doubted it because like I was like, it can't be that good.
Right.
But I watched the first couple episodes and I was like, the show is right up my fucking alley. Like
Okay.
it's very different.
You're turning me
Very
on to some
dark,
stuff right now.
Grim, but it's awesome. The other one I've been watching is Great Pretender on Netflix, which is one of the few anime that has an actual song for the ending credit song, because it's the ending credit song is a Queen song, which is really fucking cool. But it's basically about
That
these
sounds like JoJo when they had like yes and shit like that.
Yeah, they basically have it's like these swindlers who basically are like going around LA or whatever location they're at, and they're basically like it's set up into different like arcs basically. So the first 5 episodes is this arc where they basically have to try to make drugs for this like dude who's like a film producer who's also like a drug lord or whatever.
Okay.
And they basically have to act like this candy is an actual drug. So they have to like, he's like, okay, well, bring in the guy who is the person who makes these drugs. So they get this guy from Japan, and he has to come in, and he's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And then it's like, all right, you have to pretend to make these drugs. Go ahead. So he has to sit there and watch these fake videos on how to make these drugs and how to do these things to basically fuck this guy out of his money to steal all his money. And it turns into like this weird like heist, like swindler kind of thing.
Wow.
And it's really, the animation is very colorful, very vibrant, very beautiful. And it's really, really cool. Like if you really like kind of like an Ocean's 11 or
I
something
like
like
heist
that.
movies. I get down on some heist shit.
I can heist some stuff.
I can heist
That's
some
really
things.
good. And there's so many fucking shows. I've been watching shows like Future Diary and stuff, but I won't talk about that.
Okay, finally watching Future Diary.
You've been going nuts with anime.
Yeah, I've been
lately.
watching way too many shows. And I think the other one that I really enjoyed recently was this other show called Vivi. I'm naming a lot of Wit Studio shows, but I don't give a shit. Vivi, which is, it takes place in the future where there's like these AIs and there's humans, and basically the AIs basically take over and start killing all the humans,
Okay.
like the most like fucked up ways possible. And basically they have to go back in time. They send like this AI to basically go back in time to get this other android who has the capabilities to become like a hybrid of having feelings and stuff like a
Okay.
human, and basically have her stop these certain events that leads up to the calamity of humanity, basically. So that future will be prevented, basically.
So Terminator.
Kind of, yeah. But like, it's really cool. The animation is amazing and yada yada. But we'll go back to you, Robert. We'll do one more.
Okay. Do you like murder?
I can get down on some murder every once in a while. Yeah.
Do you like some violence, some like grotesque,
You know, I like violence as much as the next guy.
a little bit of cannibalism, black market? Like,
Oh,
hey, you know,
cannibalism. That's
I don't
some
think I've
spicy.
ever heard someone say it like that. Do you like
Murder.
you know,
Cannibalism is a
I'll-
little spicy.
it's a
but-
little spicy. And do you also want some love sprinkled in there?
Yeah,
Like a high school
Why
love.
not?
No, you get down
Okay,
some of that.
so the anime I'm recommending, which I know none of you have seen, is Beastars.
I have
I've
seen
seen a couple of
Beastars.
episodes.
Oh,
I've seen Beastars.
you seen season 1 or 2?
Both.
Oh, my
I'm
boy.
with you. I'm there.
Oh, my boy.
So
Okay.
I've seen a couple of episodes. I'm just gonna let you know this now. Shout outs to Carlos. He's on our regular podcast. He always helps us with our anime podcast.
On the ones and twos.
On the ones and twos. This Beastars is Carlos's worst fucking nightmare.
Oh, 100%.
I
You would
imagine you would not
Hey,
enjoy it.
Beastars.
Yeah.
With a passion.
I liked it. I had a good time. I thought. It was
I don't
fun.
think it's a bad show.
No.
I've seen a couple episodes.
It was a little spicy too.
Yeah, that I know what you're talking about in there at the end. That started. That got me blindsided. Fucking God, blindsided me. Because at first it's just kind of like a fun little show and like
Little
they-
romance going on, little
yeah,
love triangle.
and then they start throwing in some of that like social stuff where they're like
then the politics come in.
yeah, where they do. It's like a Zootopia almost, but like more intense. Like they push it even farther.
They
like,
let you like, no, carnivores are gonna be nice. No, they still eat.
no,
they
they
still
still
need
need meat. Like, and like you can feed them eggs and shit
Yeah.
for as long, but like they need
There's-
like blood and meat and shit.
There's a black market that the government knows, but it's fine. It's
Well,
keeping it
because
quiet.
you imagine if you keep it quiet and just let them nibble on some stuff, it'll keep them from going on full blown rampages.
Yep. Or how the mayor, the mayor, right, is a lion, but he has his fangs removed to make sure everyone's like,
Oh,
oh
yeah.
yeah, I'm with you. I can smile.
Yeah, I'm a good predator.
But then like all the gangs are carnivores and
Yeah,
herbivores. It's just
It's-
it gets really spicy.
it gets
like,
pretty bloody.
Like it starts with like a little high school romance. Like, oh, what do they go with? Oh,
Is it the wolf and the bunny?
Yeah,
Wolf and the Bunny and the
Yeah.
Deer's like the third one. He's like, ho ho ho, and then like halfway through the season, he gets like it hits the fan of like, no, I got you now. You thought this was love.
Is
We're
that the
back.
whole thing of the show? Is that there's like a evil like carnivore who's like eating?
Not even that.
Students?
It's trying to figure out still the first episode's like who killed that student,
Yeah,
who ate that student,
yeah.
and that's
That's-
going to fuel it. But at the same time, while they're trying to figure that out, gangs, politics, all that is still wrapped around because hey, this murder did happen of a herbivore happened at this school. You gotta keep things like normalized.
Yeah.
Gotta keep
Right.
things going. So don't look
you don't
at
want to
that.
cause mass panic. Yeah.
Yeah. But it still has some good goofy moments here and there, and
Mhm.
you'll like it for its.
I think it's one of the only few 3D animated shows that's actually like solid. Like
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
and the animation, that was one of the first 3D animated shows where I thought like, oh, 3D animation could actually be like a real
What
art
ab-
form.
What about the Brawley movie?
That was a while ago that we saw that, but that shit was fucking
That was good.
dope.
Because when they were fighting at the end, when Gogeta and Brawley were fighting, or
Mhm.
Vegito, was it? No, when they do the fusion dance, it's Gogeta, right?
I think it's Gogeta, yeah, when they do the dance.
Yeah, when they fight and they break dimensions and like.
Yeah,
the
they were like
three-
destroying the actual like fabric of the universe and shit. It's like what the was going on?
That's some good 3D blending with 2D animation.
And
Mm.
then there's the newer Berserk show, which no one likes.
No, it's a good show. I don't know who these
Oh.
people are. I don't
Found
think
a
they even
defender.
watch. No, I don't even think they watch the series because me and David watched the
The
old.
3D,
Yes,
not the old,
yes,
the new one.
yes.
Okay.
It's good because we watched the old 2D Berserk. We're like, okay, this is great. This is fantastic. Then we watched the 3D, and yeah,
Where do you see that? I wanna watch the old Berserk
You
really
can't.
bad.
You have to
You
watch
can't.
it. You have to watch it on legal site.
what
Ugh.
they've done is they've taken the old show and made 3 movies out of it, which
Okay.
actually are better because if you go from the 2D to the 3D show, there's characters in the 3D show that you don't know because they kind of time skipped a little bit,
Okay.
where the movies filled all that in. It's basically just taking the series, cutting out the fat, and here's the
Okay.
show, but
So
like
it's
in 3D.
It's like Dragon Ball. What's that one where they like cut out a bunch of shit? Or am I thinking of a different show? Whatever.
Maybe One Piece, because One Piece does like the movies to cut out the fat.
Maybe I don't know.
So the 3D animated Berserk is still the same as the 2D Berserk. It just and it follows the manga because there is one character that becomes like the goofy like comic relief, which
Mhm.
is like totally different from the 2D show, but he's in the manga because the manga stretches for so long and the creator even died.
Oh really?
Yeah. So they don't even know what to do.
Oh,
now.
didn't he just die recently?
He died like last year. Hence why a lot of his like Berserk it's so hard to find the original Berserk and all that because it's like it was his property. He made sure it's like if I die, no one's coming after my property
Mm.
unless my family says like it's off to a respectful hands. Because the reason why there was such a long gap between the 2D and 3D anime show is because he was making sure that if my work's being presented, everything's being shown. Well, we need to cut that. It's a little bit too R-rated. It's like no.
No, that's what I made this shit for.
Yeah, I made this for it. Unless you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. But if you're going to do it, you're keeping in everything I
Do
put
it
in
right.
my mind. Hmm.
That's fair. I mean, he created the show. He's allowed to do that.
Yeah, so hence why it took so long. Hence why they had to redo it in the 3D style for the movies, for the show. And now he's dead. So we don't know what's happening.
Hmm.
But it's a good show. 3D, it's good. It looks bad, but during some of the animation scenes, they go to 2D for like a few seconds. And you're like, oh, that's beautiful.
You get a little glimpse of what things could have been. Oh, that sounds good.
Sounds like
Yes.
you're holding on to something. That's
Like Berserk, the 2D, a 10 out of
Yeah.
10. The 3D, 8. Be a little flexible. Just because it does stuff that no animation show does, which is not hold back.
That's why I've always wanted to watch it, because it seems like it's one of those shows that like tries to push the envelope as far as it can, and like I wanna, and it's one of those shows that
It's Game of Thrones politics.
yeah, and it's like inspired so many other like shows and even maybe like a genre even, and like
The Souls games, especially Bloodborne takes heavy inspiration. I mean,
Really?
even Dark Souls, like a lot in Elden Ring, you can see like even like the sword gravestones. That's from Berserk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he made sure to like put homage.
That's
The
really cool,
creator
actually.
of the Souls games loves Berserk so much he keeps making homages to
I
it.
do remember reading something about that. He's like a really big fan of that anime. So I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I think the thing I like about I haven't seen Berserk, but just based off of clips and things I've seen from Berserk, compared to like now, which I think I've talked about this with one on the show, is just older shows having much more imagination and a lot more
DBC had imagination.
Huh?
DBC?
No, but shows like Berserk or even like Gurren Lagann,
Cowboy
or
Bebop.
stuff like that, where they were able to do a lot more compared to now, where it feels like everything's so vanilla. Like it feels very bland.
Yeah, it feels like there's a lot of shows that are just kind of like picking up on trends, like you know that whole like the sword art trend where like everybody's reincarnating into something.
It's
not even
okay.
reincarnate. That started like some reincarnations, but then it just like
You're talking about isekai anime.
Right, yeah,
All
or
creates
they,
own
like
genre.
they go into their little like alternate world or whatever, and like there's like 1,000 shows like that now.
Yep.
Some of them are still really good though. Like I just watched No Game No Life, and then there's a couple other ones that are like
Reincarnate as a slime.
yeah, Reincarnated as a Slime is a fucking great show.
I still have to watch it.
I fucking love that
I haven't
show.
started season 2 yet. But season 1 was
But move on to you, Tyler.
I started watching. I haven't finished it, or I guess I'm only a couple
You
episodes.
also tell us like a finished show.
Yeah, because I haven't finished Dororo or Great Britannia.
And we just talked about Berserk.
I mean, I was gonna talk about the new JoJo season,
Mm.
just because it's the first time there's been a girl JoJo, and it's in a prison, which is weird. There's a lot of
some prison school going on.
There's a lot of weird shit happening in this one, and like they keep, it feels like they keep getting more and more weird every season, and I kind of like that shit.
It's like I've never experienced this before. Show me.
Yeah,
But that's what I want. Like I want shit to get weird. You know what
Yeah.
I mean, like I want shit to have more oomph to it. You know, because like I was saying, like with this newest season of anime, like I was just very bored through a lot of these shows because they just don't do anything.
They're
It's
all
like,
samey and
Well, yeah, because like when me and David used to watch anime like all the time.
Sure.
We tried watching like the dancing animes where it's like the K like pop idols and all that, but they all are the same.
Yeah, it's the same
everything is
shit.
like there's so many animes that are like each other because they're just like we gotta get this out, we gotta get something out, something on TV.
Right.
But the ones that stay through time are the ones that are go keep watching. I still get kids now that watch Naruto, that watch Bleach, that watch anything that we've watched. They're just rewatching because hey, that's stuck through time. Last Airbender, the best anime.
I fucking
It's
we're
not-
gonna get in that whole
it's not-
argument.
Avatar's not an anime.
We're gonna get
To
in that
Moon
whole
Knight it
argument.
is, and to everyone else, yes. So, but
Good
like
show, great show.
that's
Amazing
the
show.
test of time. It's like, is it still gonna last? Is it still go like what we
Right.
watch, what we loved? Is that still gonna be reciprocated? And it is for the shows that aren't just like we need something now. The stuff
Right.
that's like now.
Exactly. Well, they've like put thought and they've put like heart into it. Like they've actually like tried to make something that they thought was really cool and not just something that was going to make them some money to
Yeah.
keep the lights on, you know?
Which I mean, all artists do. I mean, I've talked to so many musicians that say like, "Oh, what inspired you?" And they'd be like, "We needed money, so we made
I
a
mean,
song."
yeah, you
It
still
just
need
so
to make
happened.
money. You still need to like, you know, put food on your table and shit, but like make art, you
Yeah,
know?
you can put yourself in some songs, self in others. It's just what do you want?
Because no, I was just gonna say for JoJo, what I've always heard about JoJo is the first like the first like season, I guess, is a little rough.
It's pretty
like-
slow, yeah.
Yeah, but once you get past, I think it's like when they say that you get to like season 2 or season 3,
I've
it
even
gets
been told like to skip season
way
1.
better. And like,
It becomes a different show almost, really.
but I think the thing with JoJo is people saw the potential. Like they're like, I
Right.
see what you can achieve.
Yeah.
And once they got to that point, it's like this is perfect now. This is exactly what I wanted.
Yes, because
So-
in the first season, it's just kind of like a generic anime where they're like, oh, there's this bad guy, oh, he has to fight him or whatever, and then it kind of ends, and then you're like, oh, what's gonna happen next? And then the next couple seasons, they actually like get into their stride and they start doing all that really weird meme shit.
Mhm.
All of the like weird memes that come out of JoJo usually come out of like the second to fourth arc. Because they're fucking hilarious. They just do weird, random shit, and they start doing all these like stupid poses.
And yet you won't watch Boba Bo.
I actually really do want to watch JoJo. Not Boba Bo.
Why not Bobo? You love Bobo.
We watched it, and I had a great time. It's a great show to get high to.
It's just like JoJo.
But if you were to be
it's
like,
more intense than JoJo, really.
Bobo is more intense.
Bobo is fucking weird. There's crazy shit happening.
There
in that
is
show.
no plot.
There's no plot. JoJo is at least like sort of structured, you know?
There was one episode that Bobo mentioned, like, oh, last episode, and then this episode does completely nothing with that.
Yeah,
just like,
nothing.
we're going off to the now here.
Yeah, they just do. It's like a LSD trip the entire time. It's hilarious, but
Fist of the nose hair.
I guess I'll do my last one, which is
You don't love Gasser when he just farts in his hand. He's just like, ah.
I don't remember that.
Fucking throws it like bombs.
I believe it.
Or what was the Jelly Man? Dawn Patches. The sun.
I do remember that.
I'm gonna do my last two are gonna be probably the two other shows I've really enjoyed recently, which is Ranking of Kings, which I would also recommend you guys.
It's on my cut.
That's once again another Wood Studio show, but I've been on a Wood Studio kick lately. Basically has this like more like Studio Ghibli-ish art style. It's very different.
I like that.
But the animation is like when you look at it, you're like, that looks kind of ugly. Once you see the motion, it's fucking beautiful. Like you're like, it's some of the best animation for like a show that's a little bit more wonkier, kind of like a One Piece or something like that. And it's this, you can't help but feel for these characters, and like they do such a good job of setting up how everyone is and all this other stuff. The villains are fucking terrifying in the show. It's really dark. When you look at the show, you're like, this is like a kid show. This is like the studio.
I think I've seen stuff about it.
It is really fucked up and grim. And like to me personally, it's a show that I feel like a lot of people purposely didn't watch because of the animation, but it's definitely worth your time, where it's like this prince who wants to be a king, but he's what's it called? I think he's deaf. Yeah, he's deaf. So basically, and he's like small and it's not strong. Doesn't have anything.
Animes love to do that, where the main character is like this. Everything is bad about him except he has this one really cool thing that he can do, and he's like turns into this fucking awesome badass because of this one thing.
But like he becomes friends with this like he looks like they're like this assassin race, but it's literally looks like a puddle.
What the fuck?
Like a puddle. But it does in like 3 episodes makes you care so much about this fucking puddle of a person. And then you're like, how do I care so much about a fucking puddle with a hand?
Man, sometimes writing is a wonderful thing. Sometimes
but
you can have
listen, you will care.
But I think, especially like you, I think you would fucking love that show. Like that would be one of the main. I would be like, yo, fuck all the other shows. I recommend you watch Ranking of Kings.
Dororo and Ranking of Kings. Well, Ranking of Kings on my board. I also want to put Dororo there.
Ranking Kings in Great Britain.
You're not getting a third one.
Everybody gets two.
The last show I would talk about before we wrap it up is Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation. The only isekai anime I've enjoyed recently. And it's supposed to be like one of the OGs of isekai anime, because it really is the manga that, or light novel, whichever one, inspired all of the rest of them, and all the rest of them basically took the tropes out of it, but didn't take all the good stuff from it. And Mushoku Tensei, just to knock it out now, the main character is a piece of shit. He's perverted. He's gross. He's a terrible fucking person. Yada yada yada. But the rest of the show, the world building, the animation, the side characters, literally is so different from any other show that I've seen. And I think it really does a good job of making you slowly be like, oh shit, I actually do care about what's going on. They tell you how magic works in the world and how this and how this. It does so much world building to the point where you're just like, damn, I know this world better than fucking the world I live in now. Like it does an incredible job of that. And so many isekai shows don't do that stuff, where they're kind of like, the hero comes in, he's overpowered. All right.
Right.
Everyone just bows to him. All the girls want him, all the this and all that. When they're missing the point of what a reincarnation show is supposed to do.
Revenge of a Healer. Nothing.
Which is supposed to give you a second chance at life. Like,
right.
That's the point. That's what makes ReZero so good, is because Subaru's character is a loser. But like when he comes back to this world, he's able to be that hero, and it turns into like a puzzle show where he's like, I have to navigate the
learn how to
puzzle to
yeah.
make everyone stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
This show is like him basically being like, he was a complete fucking loser, but this is giving him a second chance of being able to be a better person because he is such a terrible person. Like, unlike Subaru, who wasn't a bad person, he was just a loser.
Yeah,
this
just
guy
a
is
regular
a
dude.
piece of shit. But it's him being like, I have to learn to be better. And this is my chance to be
Yeah.
that person. I can.
You have to
Have
unlearn
the
behaviors.
potential.
You know, it's just like I'm good.
Yeah.
It's like you were taught that. How are you going to teach that to others?
Yeah. So like, I really, really, really like it because the first part of it, you're like, okay, you know, when is this gonna get going? And then you fucking get to, I forgot what the fucking point, what it's called. It's like break point or something like that. Is the episode where it just completely changes the show. And it flip flops it. And you're like, what?
Where am I?
And
Who
every
are
single
you?
time you see it, and there's a second one too. So whenever time you see a thing called like break point or whatever the fuck it's called, you're like, oh shit's gonna go down. Like, and it's really fucking cool. I would really recommend it if you're like, I'm tired of isekai anime, which I am. I'm fucking tired of them. Like, get them the fuck
Yeah,
out
I'm
of
kind
this.
of done with them.
But that would be the one that I'd be like, but try this one.
Okay.
This and ReZero, or like the two. That I would be like, these are worth your time.
And on a side note, Chainsaw Man's going to come out. And
Yeah.
that trailer looks so good.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that yet.
You haven't seen Chainsaw Man trailer?
No.
I'm going to show you that after
yeah,
this.
it looks really good.
Yeah.
It's
Also, do you just like open our like world history books and be like, this lore is boring? This anime though, this lore, this lore is great.
the lore's cool. Just the main character sucks. But that's the show. You know how it is. Let us know how we did in the comments. If you like the show, any ways we can improve the show. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to our channel.
Thank
any
you
support.
for watching my podcast.
There you go. Make sure any support towards the show, we greatly appreciate it. You'll make Robert super happy.
Just Robert.
You become his best friend.
Just me.
no
No one else.
if
If you message anyone else, I get upset.
if you want to listen to the podcast, we're on any podcast app of your choice. If you are a listener, audio listener, you can watch us on YouTube and watch us. You can see all these amazing statues, and you can see Robert giving it a 7 visually and upsetting me.
This one's an 8.
This
This one would have been like a 9 if this didn't happen.
Off.
I ruined your
we don't
magic.
talk about that.
You ruined the magic.
But
And this one's missing the arrow.
Oh
if you
my
look at
God,
this.
Robert.
This one's just bad. His eyes are crooked.
yeah, see, I always say this one's the worst one
Yeah, that was
because
the worst one.
it looks cool until you look at his face.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wow.
And this
And
one's
then
the most
Juan was
expensive.
like, oh, but Chizuru from Rent a Girlfriend is boring. But at least she's articulated.
Yeah,
though.
she's
She
alright.
at least looks good. Like this one, Todoroki, fuck Todoroki. I hate this statue. I don't care. I'll say it.
Get wrecked.
Juan's not here. We can do
Can't
whatever the
defend
fuck we
himself.
want.
Oh,
This is last place.
it's a whole
This
new
is
world
first
now.
place.
That's like
get
middle.
the- get,
That's
get out
middle.
of here, you're a guess.
I mean,
And then
this would have been all right if you don't just tap. Okay, his swords are staying in this time. Oh,
Yo.
there it is.
Oh my God.
yo, leave Tenjin alone.
You need glue for this one.
No,
If
he's
anything,
fine.
Rim is top place.
You're purposely trying to knock off his swords. Yeah, you
He's
need
so
glue.
look. I can wiggle him, and his swords come out.
Because you're not supposed to wiggle him. He's a
I can
fucking
wiggle all the
figure.
other ones, and they know about. This one's top 10.
No.
Yes.
Fuck him. He
You did it.
has brown. Look at him.
You gotta end
Looks
this.
like he got a shitty sunburn.
You gotta put
And
these
then
viewers
Tyler?
out of it. What?
Your final words.
I love you all. Love each other.
Rem is the best.
Goodbye. Rem is the best.
This has been the Headphones On Podcast Anime Edition. I'm Hunter.
I'm Robert.
And I'm Tyler.
Hope you have a lovely day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.